In a faraway country in the middle of Europe, brave people are fighting the darkness so that it doesn't spread over the world.
Outside Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine, investigators are still exhuming bodies.
Growing outrage over the atrocities committed by Russian forces. President Biden is calling for new sanctions and a war crimes trial.
Russia must pay for its horrific crimes.
This is Ukraine, peaceful, beautiful, and free. We are known for our food, songs, fiery nature, and a strong, unbreakable spirit. I was born in this very house on the 7th floor, in a city that doesn't exist anymore. Kharkiv. I'm Alessia Shevikova, a Ukrainian-Canadian journalist and the co-director of the feature-length documentary Where the Threads of Humanity Meet a Threat to Humanity. 10 months ago, I became a soldier in this war, with the storytelling as my weapon. I didn't choose to, and it didn't happen overnight. It's pain, grief, love, helplessness, and rage that pushed many of us out of our comfort zone.
On the way there, we ran into a volunteer vehicle that just brought some kids. So I went up to the driver and asked, if there's anything I can do to help. And he asked me if I would be willing to evacuate people from the areas where the fighting was taking place. I said yes, and they said, well, if you're ready, you're making a trip. Yes, you get scared for so long. After constant shelling for a few days, you get used to it. And then, instead of being scared, you just get really, really angry.
War is the worst evil, I think, in the world. The worst, very worst. Yes. There's no room for war in this world, but people make it anyway.
In this film, we're taking you to Ukraine to witness the war firsthand through the lenses of our cameras. We're following the threads to document the war crimes, to give them names, voices, and faces, to prevent the tragedy from turning into statistics. Our international team of journalists, filmmakers, activists, volunteers, human rights lawyers will craft a film that will bring those accountable one step closer to the International Court of Justice in Hague.
There is one thread which is common for all this conflict, which is that not a single Russian has faced justice for the atrocities which they have committed. And until there is a justice done and done properly, this is not going to end. We need to break this impunity cycle.
Since the beginning of the war, I've been collecting stories of volunteers, soldiers on the front lines, children, victims. My background as a Canadian filmmaker and a Ukrainian journalist gives our team a unique access to media clearances, stories, and interviews that need to be heard by mankind, so that they don't become just a number or a file on a court shelf. Humanity is at stake and has been for the past 30 years. With Russia's war crimes in Chechnya, repeating in Georgia, and again in Syria, and now in Ukraine, where we're not only fighting for our freedom, we're fighting for freedom, full stop.
Постсоветские войны – это не отдельные эпизоды, это цепь войн, цепь преступлений и цепь безнаказанности.
287 days of war, 855 Ukrainian children wounded, 330 missing, 443 killed, thousands of children orphaned, more than 13,000 forcefully taken to Russia without parents. The human rights organization we work with on the ground in Ukraine is undertaking a new project to return as many kids as possible to Ukraine. We will be there to film the effort of getting our babies home.
Most difficult is the people there, the children, the very, very young children still living in those destroyed cities, lining up with their parents for food or water, and to see them still happy somehow, you know, in the times of war, in the middle of a completely bombed out city, still trying to live a childhood, have fun, you know. They don't see it the way it is, you know, war.
With your support, we are going to Ukraine to change the world, one thread of humanity at a time, and one step closer to the International Court of Justice in Hague.